Greetings and salutations. This is Jason Silverain, and today I'll be taking a look at Without Romance. Now, this was actually created for the Summer Novel Festival 2020 and is created by Moonlit Works. It's reasonably decent. It's between 30 to 60 minutes long, so this could turn into somewhat of a long video because, hey, narrating always takes longer than just reading through. Let's go. It's about a bit of a love triangle and arranged marriages. An outsider would not likely an outsider wouldn't likely not believe it. Let's get this right. I can still barely believe it myself. If I wake up and realise this is all a dream, I won't be surprised. A fairy tale. That's the only way I can describe it. I loved those stories as a kid, fantasizing about being one of many princesses. And now, here I sit, enjoying the view with Prince Charming by my side. Just like how those stories end, except love is not our happy ending. There had been once a time I had dreams, a time I dared to have hope of my own in life, to fly free and explore all the world had to offer. How childish I'd been, to think I could escape, to become more than I was. Yet as a child my folly knew no bounds. My eyes had been glued to the pages of a solitary book, the vibrant colours faded from overuse, the shining white of castles turned to dull grey. I'd once asked my mother what it might be like to live in such a castle. She stopped, gently laid down her dishcloth and turned to tell me a story. A realm of banquets, rooms aplenty, and best of all, home of Prince Charming, a gallant gentleman, she said. Not that a 9-year-old me knew what a gallant gentleman was. In our city, the Yamatos were as close to the fairy tale royalty as we ever dream of finding. Their land was spacious, their house warm, their stomachs full. Everything that was ours were not. But how could we ever hope to compare? Their prestige was unmatched, their dedication to tradition unrivaled. Even their marriages couldn't escape their pedigree. And what they sought? Only the finest. And yet somehow, someway, I'd planted a seed in the minds of my parents that their little girl had dreams of grandeur. To be clad in finery, to lead the life of a princess. Made sense then. That's what my mother and father put the wheels in motion. To set me upon a path for the throne, for I was barely qualified. My merits? Simply that I was one of the most intelligent for my age. With near nothing to my name, there was no better way to pass the time than to commit whatever knowledge I could find to memory. And such was how I'd gone year after year with only the finest of grades. How convenient then that my intellect sat atop the Yamato's pecking order. I would have once thought that beauty would be key, but every family has their own tastes, and they were no different. The reception room is filled with girls my age, and maybe a few or a year older, but that isn't the biggest difference. Dressed in frills and vibrant colours, these girls chat away. I can tell many already know one another. Maybe it's an aloofness I put out that keeps them away, but more likely it's the patched up clothes my mother had handed me earlier that day. Only the finest for our little princess, she said, combing my hair. Should have known I have no place at this ball, and I have not the blessings of Cinderella. I hear he's quite handsome, he must be quite dashing. Really? My maid told me the young master was the quiet type, though that's nothing but servant gossip. The talk around me only meant my place here. What could I even offer these people? My own lips muttered treason. A glance around shows the candidates forming their own groups, a hierarchy of extravagant forms. A few of us still stand alone, even one girl who would make a fine addition to any social circle. Her golden hair bobs, and as she bounces in excitement, even managing to bring a smile to my face. I take a deep breath. Nothing good comes from staying nervous, as my father might say. Between the heat of the room and the chilled drinks covering the tables, a mist covered my glasses. Taking them in the hand, I wiped them on my dress. I wanted to feel the glares from all around burning into my skin. That's nothing new. The set of doors across the room slide open, a silence a far cry from my own home. How nice that would be. Through the doorway walks a woman in most gorgeous suit, but what catches my eye is a young boy walking behind her. For closing the doors behind them, the woman turns to address us. Her words barely register. Isn't it just polite lip service? Around me, the other girls seem to buzz with a newfound excitement at mention of a name. Ren. With a polite bow, the woman steps aside, offering the stage to a young boy that had entered with her. Although he's my age, he holds a poise that felt beyond his years. And once more the platitudes wash over me, and I fix my eyes on the boy commanding the room, while nervous giggles flow through the guests. My mind keeps ticking over. His words aren't important. If anything, the whispers shoot through the room tell me all I need to know. Ren is the prince of this castle. And for the sake of my family, I must be his princess. I heave a long and exhausted sigh. Rachel, what's with the long face now? Come on, smile. My, you've taken too many pictures. Let's go already. But it's your big day. Tinkers with the camera in her hand, careful not to accidentally break it. Papa's dying to attend if it were not for work. He asked me to take as many pictures he asked me to take as many pictures instead. One is enough. Every other take is just the same face doing the same pose in front of the same gate. Then change it up, silly. Her eyes scan the area and lock onto a group of my classmates fooling around the schoolyard. She points at them with her pinky. There, do you see them? They're taking lots of pictures as well. I bet they barely pass their classes. Meanwhile, Miss Valedictorian here thinks she deserves less. Grades and pictures are not related. Besides, they're making memories with their friends. Mine are just for commemoration. Call your friends then. I'll be happy to take their pictures too. Forget it. See? Now move to the left a little bit and give me a big smile. The shutter clicks yet again. It's not about the pictures I'm complaining about. It's embarrassing standing here while my classmates, whose names I already can't remember, are passing us by. God, Pa isn't here. There's no knowing how embarrassing this would be. This is once in a lifetime moment, and I know I should let them indulge. They're proud of my achievements, I understand, and I'm happy they are, but they're the ones I did it for after all. Perhaps if taking pictures at home I would have no qualms. Mother clicks her tongue and shakes the device. Darn, batteries are low already? That means it's time to go, at last. Should have brought the charger with me. Oh, I know. There's a restaurant that's just opened nearby. Why don't we treat ourselves there? Don't you need to go to work? Not for another hour. Let's just go home so you can rest before you go. You haven't eaten anything since morning. I cooked something myself. We don't need to go to a restaurant for that. We don't have the money either. Of course we... No, we don't. We're already behind rent because of this gown and camera. It's for your papa and I to worry about. You, on the other hand, just enjoy today, okay? You're about to be part of the Yamato family. Money should be the least of your worries. Not until the marriage is final. So pretty. How are you going to make the Yamato kid like you if you're like that? I don't really have to have him like me. She sighs, touching her cheek. I've always been worried that you're trying to get yourself into something you don't truly understand. Like what? This entire thing. You don't really seem to be seeing marriage in the way you should. I'm seeing it in the way you Yamatos do. I'll be fine. Honey, this is a huge commitment. You seem to be taking it lightly. Marrying someone you don't have feeling for, that's... You can still kindly decline and pursue something you want instead. But this is what I want. I've worked hard to get where we are now. I'm not backing out when it's already within reach. You've got enough things to worry about already. I can worry about myself now. She has a dissatisfied frown but chooses not to pry any further. You said you're going there tomorrow? Formally meeting them and introducing myself. The last time we met was at a big party 9 years ago after all. I'll be surprised if he still remembers me. I'd love to accompany you there, but I'll be fine. It's just a visit. I might also visit them frequently now the school's over, to know more about what's needed of me and all. You have time to come eventually. Somehow I've distracted her enough out of the idea of eating out. I mean, it's a relatively simple sentence, but when you're trying to read it quickly, it's a bit of a tongue twister. I pull on her arm and start walking home. So we've got someone who definitely feels like they have to get married for the sake of their family's finances. And the parents are kind of like pushing for like, just don't do this if you don't want to. And it seems like she doesn't value herself very much. Or really understand those around her. So anyway, the following day comes. I find myself standing in front of the Yamato's estate. Thank you for coming all this way today, Madame Risa. Unfamiliar woman in a business suit lowers her head as she greets me at the door. I've not introduced myself, nor I told them I'll be visiting today, but she seems to be expecting me. I lower my head back at her. These formalities may be normal in this household, but I may not get used to it. Oh, thank you. I'm here to meet Silverain Yamato. Of course, madam, this way. She steps aside and points her hand, inviting me in. I follow her to what seems to be a waiting room more spacious than our family's entire apartment. Must be massive, or you live in a tiny hovel. Anyway, the doors open directly to the garden. In one corner of the room sits a guy busy with his pen. I recognise him right away, even though it's been half my life since we last met. Your fiancé has arrived, sir. The guy looks up and immediately drops his work. He kindly points to the seat in front of him with his palm. Ah, yes, please, take a seat. Risa, right? Yes, sir. I sit at the centre table cautiously as he's just standing up to join me. Just call me Ren. We're already engaged after all. Okay, sir. Ren. May I get you something to drink, madam? I'm good, thank you. We'll take tea for now, Ruth. Right away, sir. Ruth lowers her head once again as she exits the room. Could have prepared something better had we known you were coming today. It's fine, don't mind me. Nervous? Just a little out of place. You're part of the family now. Treat this household as your own. Don't hesitate to ask for assistance whenever. I'll try, thank you. Glance over to the table where he's just at. Paper rustling in the wind or held down by a small piece of rock. You seem to be in the middle of something. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. Nothing to be sorry about. Work has just piled up recently. I hope you don't mind the mess. Not at all. His kind tone and welcoming attitude made me comfortable, despite his rather impassionate expression. It's really nice to meet you again. I heard you at the top of your class. That's admirable. It means a lot coming from you. I'm honoured that you've chosen me from amongst all the great candidates. It was my parents who did. I trust their decisions. They're not around, unfortunately. No one knows when they'll be returned yet. I see I should offer my gratitude then when I finally meet them. Were you homeschooled? That's correct. My parents preferred tutors to ensure that I'm being taught thoroughly in each subject. I see, that must be nice. I suppose I'm also the top of my class. That's one thing in common. He cracks a slight smile with that playful comment. Ruth comes in carrying a pot in one hand and a stack of teacups in the other. She cautiously places them on our table. Young master, you have another guest today. Shall I let her in? Please do. As you wish. Ren pours himself a cup of tea of Ruth stands and leaves. I'm confused what I should do. Should I get going? No, it's fine. A few people have just been visiting to show their gratitude and blessings. It would be better if you were here for me to them greet. Is that so? Why don't you move over to my side? Sure. I walk on my knees to take a seat right beside him as he requested. It's a nerve-wracking both being this close to having to meet another candidate. Ruth returns, this time with another guest behind her. She enters the room without waiting for an introduction. Hello, Rose. Hey, Ren, it's been a while. Ruth quietly closes the door behind this energetic girl as she makes herself comfortable in the seating across from us. Would you like some tea? Sounds lovely, but I'll pass. Mum and Dad couldn't make it today, but I wanted to come and visit at all costs. That's understandable. How have you been? Absolutely great. And your work? Never ending. As always, then. They both giggle. She turns to me and finally acknowledges my existence. Ah, you must be Risa. I am. Nice to meet you. So cute. What a lucky guy you are, Ren. I couldn't help but notice how expressive Ren is right now. From the looks of it, they've been good friends for a while already. Maybe Ren just feels more comfortable with her around. Anyway, if I had to guess, the other girls have already paid you a visit already, and I'm here for the same reason. I'm really happy for you two. She takes a step back to prostrate herself before us. Oh, excuse me. On behalf of my family, I'd like to thank the Yamato family for the great opportunity I was given. It means a lot. Just about to take a bow back instinctively when Ren gently taps me on the knee. The pleasure was ours, Rose. I appreciate your participation. Rose sits back up with a bright smile on her face. Have you guys decided when the wedding will be? Hasn't been decided yet. We'd like to have Risa and her family comfortable with us first. May not be for another year. Do let us know when it's sad. My parents and I would love to be there. We'll surely send you an invitation. Great. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress, Risa. Thank you. I'm sure you'd look better in one. Don't put yourself down. She helps herself up. Well then, I'll have to take my leave. Thanks for the visit, Rose. Take care on your way home. I will. Have a great day. She bows once more with a big smile and heads towards the door. She waves at the last minute before closing the door behind her. The once cheerful room goes quiet. Such a lively girl. She always has been. You two seem close. Ah, yes. She kept me company every once in a while. Do you like her? That may have come out my mouth without thinking, but I'm curious. He looked puzzled for a few seconds before directing his stare outside. Does it look like it? The smile never left your face the entire time she was here. I don't know much about that, but maybe I am. He massages the bridge of his nose. And you're okay with this? He takes a sip of his tea, but it's obvious he's dodging the question. He gently places the cup back down on the table, playing with it by tipping it just enough of the liquid to reach the edge of the rim. I'm sorry if I'm prying into your matters. It's fine. He continues to play with his half-full cup. How much do you know about the Yamato family? I know about being the most prestigious family. It doesn't look like the response he was waiting for. I try to think of another answer. I know that your family values traditions a lot, staying true to customs that have been passed down throughout the generations. I know you prioritise physical and mental wellness of your descendants above all else. I know that the firstborn gets to inherit everything that gets passed down to the next generation. Funny, isn't it? What is? That I get to inherit everything. I'm the one to pass down the tradition to my children and so on. Even when I'm not the firstborn. I turn to him dumbfounded by the news I've been hearing for the first time. I'm not familiar with their family matters to begin with, but what I'm learning right now is not a small matter. In fact, I've not even heard of it, but means of rumour, and no one outside their family knows about it. I have a brother, you see, much older one. May I ask where he is now? Who knows, he cut all ties with us long ago. You see, he chose to stick with his selfish decision over duties. He chose to be a woman he loves against my parents' will, against our family's tradition. That's a novel-worthy story. It's the first time in our bloodline that something like this has happened. I doubt that. It's probably happened, and much like this, has been very quietly shushed up, and the person basically removed from all records. Romantic, some would say, braver even. But I see neither of those. He's a disgrace, prioritizing his own emotions. Our traditions exist for a reason. We've kept our status because of it. I am my family's last chance. I won't ruin our traditions for some trivial emotions. Well, I don't know about last chance. They could always adopt. They could always have another kid. I mean, that's an option, right? He takes another sip. I'm lost for words. Ren's devotion to his family has earned my utmost respect, though part of me sides with his brother. I don't think his brother's decision was wrong in any way. I've not experienced love yet myself, but that's not to say I can't understand it. A mere image of wanting to be with someone else warms my heart. It's beautiful. To be deprived of that because of your duties, that must be tough. As much as I would want to know that feeling firsthand, I'm not blessed with a person I feel so strongly towards. But Ren, he knows that feeling and chooses to keep it to himself. Something's just not right. What do you feel about Rose? Do you want to spend time with her? That doesn't matter now. It still does. Your dedication to family is impressive, and I can tell you've done a lot. You should be allowed to be selfish every once in a while. Even if that means to spend a little time with someone you're attracted to. Why is my fiancé asking me to spend time with another girl? I don't see anything wrong with spending time with someone. Besides, I think my fiancé deserves happiness before the ring is in place. His hesitant gaze is right at me. I've still got a lot to learn around here, and the wedding is not for another year, as you said. Are you really sure about this? Am I suggesting it out of sympathy? Out of pity? Out of guilt? My gut tells me it's the right thing to do. Rose can give him something I will never be able to. I will be hurt to see him bereaved. I am. I insist. He lets a breeze out through his nose. I'll have her requested for another visit soon. Without much opposition from him, I get up and talk to Ruth to do just that. It's really unusual, because she doesn't even give herself the chance. And it's like she has no friends at school. She doesn't try to socially go with anyone. She seems to have a very low self-confidence when it comes socially in her looks and everything, because she's quite attractive. But Risa's got issues. Alright. Rose has arranged to visit again after a few days, and I've made sure I'll be here to greet her. Risa, good afternoon. How are you today? Fantastic. Looking adorable today. Why, thank you. I'm sorry to have you over on such short notice. Don't mention it. Something wrong? Rest my cheek on my palm to be constructing my statement in my head. To tell you the truth, I've got a favour to ask. If there's anything I can do, I would like to help Ruth out around the house, and I would not have much time to spend with Ren. I noticed the other day you two are good friends with him, and was wondering if you'd be willing to keep him company from time to time. Oh. She looks to me waiting for a catch. Oh, absolutely, it'd be an honour. Really, that would be wonderful. I'm sorry to have you involved in this, but I just don't know anyone else. I know it's my responsibility and all. She takes steps closer to me and holds hands with both of hers. Don't you worry, Risa, I have you covered. Got plenty of time to spare now anyway. Great. I scout her to Ren's study. Rose has come to visit Ren. Ah yes, come in, Rose. That smile on his face is back. I knew this was the right thing to do. Hope you don't mind me being here, I've just got nothing better to do. Not at all, I'd love to have you over. Must be tough being confined in your house on this lovely day. I'm behind work, I can't complain. What about you? The warm atmosphere doesn't take long to develop. My presence is just in the way of them. Well then, I'll excuse myself. Oh, you're not joining us? I'm afraid I'll have to help Rup out. Are you sure you don't have to? I would like to be of any help to her. Alright then. Don't overexert yourself. I'll be sure not to. Please enjoy your time together. They continue their conversation where they left off almost instantly. It's fun watching them chatter like kids alone at a park. I take my exit quietly as not to interrupt them and head back next door where Ruth is. Hello. Madam Rita? I stop as she's about to take a stand and bow. It's fine, don't be considerate of me. I can't do that, madam. I know, I'm just not used to being catered to. Perhaps you can make an exception. Understood, madam. I prefer to be called by my name instead, but that might be too much to ask right away. At least she agrees not to lower her head every time she greets me. I'll say that's progress. Is there anything I can help you with? I have everything under control, madam. I see. I am here if you happen to need a hand. I'll be happy to help, I insist. She keeps up a professional demeanour, but a slight body movement tells me she's still hesitant to give me anything to do. Well, can I at least take a seat here until you need me? By all means, madam, please make yourself comfortable. I nod and take a seat on her small couch as she goes back to work. The room is surrounded by bookshelves holding a variety of books, each book's more complicated than the last. Does she read all these, or are these for work, records? Are you sure about this, Madam Rita? About what? Having Rose over for young Master Wren. Sure you've caught how he feels about her. You think Wren will change his mind? Master Wren will not oppose his parents' pick. I'm afraid it's you who might change your mind, madam. When that happens, Yamato will be next in line to the selection. That person happens to be the one Master Wren is with right now. So Rose's second choice. Must have been a close match. I'm not sure why Ruth thinks I'd change my mind, however. Is that so? I can tell you I don't plan to change my mind at all. I'm just letting them spend time with each other. Understood. Are you sure you don't need my help with anything right now? Just organising young Master Wren's month as much as I can right now, madam. Understood. That reminds me. What does Wren work on anyway? Young Master is a statistic analyst. I see, sounds complicated. He's always had a strong affinity with numbers. He's only still young, but it won't be long till his parents' friends will start consulting him professionally. Such a young age. Is that the family business of the Yamotos? It is not, madam. Is that so? I would have guessed they are passing down a single profitable family business. I'm afraid I don't have such a thing as a family business. Yamato family operates under a single statement. Family, freedom, and fun. Well, this doesn't seem to be covering any of those. They've got no freedom. He's certainly not having fun. And the family's off doing their own damn thing. Each member of the family is free to pursue what they're passionate about, unless that happens to be the actual person you're in love with. What if someone wants to do nothing? Then they would do just that. That wouldn't be very profitable, would it? How are they able to hold their status for such a long time if that's the case? The answer to that is yet simple yet complicated to explain. Keep it short, their basic needs are already met. They are able to focus on doing what they like. Ah, so like universal income! If that happens to gather them money, they wouldn't need it for themselves. Instead, pass it down to their children to make sure they live comfortable lives. And the cycle essentially continues. That's why it's important to them they produce healthy offspring. I see. I can't say I fully understand it, but somehow it all makes sense. Since you're part of the family now, same goes for you. You're free to pursue anything you want. Haven't thought much about what I want to do. I was under the impression I would be helping around. Of course not, madam. Well, until I figure it out, that's what I'll do. Understood. Turns out there's a lot I still need to learn about the Yamato family. Being with Ruth somehow makes it more comfortable than being with Ren. Conversation dies down and my eyes go back to wandering around the room. Perhaps I could bring you something to drink. Don't worry, I can help myself. I stand up and head for the exit. I happen to pass by Ren's room and I can't help but stop and watch how much fun they're having. Sitting at the corner of the room with such a nice view. I crack a small smile, proud of what I've done for Ren. It was definitely a good idea. I'll leave them alone for the entire day. Rose starts coming over almost every day, leaving just before afternoon ends. Every day without fail. Each day she visits, it seems like they have a new story to share. It's amazing. Imagine they've spent every day like this, unending smiles and laughters. They look so cute together. There. Almost made for each other. I wonder how Rose feels about Ren. She was a candidate, so I'm sure it crossed her mind. I'm sure she was prepared to develop feelings for him if she hasn't already. Something I didn't do. It weren't for me. I shake the thought out of my head. Next few weeks, I preoccupied my time helping Ruth out, leaving Ren and Rose almost undisturbed. I see someone becoming a concubine. Frantic footsteps ring out down the hallway, their owner flying from one room to the next. A quick glance at her wrist brings a subtle frown to her face. Ruth? Ren's attendant turns to face me, a worry dissipating in a blink of an eye. If I hadn't just seen it for myself, I would have guessed something was wrong. Oh, Risa, how good to see you. You caught me a difficult time. You didn't happen to pass Silverain on your way in, did you? I shake my head. What's the matter? Is there something I can do? A moment of hesitation of a glance on watch is all it takes. If you're so kind and not terrible pressing, only some papers to be signed, but I have my own schedule to keep. Let's go over this one again. If you'd be so kind, it's not terribly pressing, but only some papers to be signed, but I have my own schedule to keep. There we go. Shall I find him for you? Relief wells in Ruth's eyes, but never cracks a composed visage. Professional to a fault, but nothing short of excellent in her work. No wonder she's by Ren's side. What of me? I'll leave it to you then, Risa. Waste no time in dashing off. A quick bow offered in parting. What idle thoughts I'd have were scattered. Where'd Ren be at a time like this? If it's Ren, it's hardly a question. First port of call will be his study. Sun high in the sky, it would be quite the sight. Stride towards his study, bouncing with every step. Maybe I'm getting to know him better than I thought. Multiple voices reach my ears down the hallway. One clear end at the other. Sounds happy. As different as I am to my future husband, a smile creases in my face. Everyone deserves some joy in life. I slide up to the door, peeking through the gap. Inside, a pair of figures shine in the light, a deep warmth embracing them. Are you sure you have time for me now, Ren? Last time I visited you, you told me your schedule. Nothing that can't wait, Rose. You needed to see me, didn't you? There it is. A warm tone I've never been given. Its own tinged with sadness. The atmosphere is heavy enough to root me to the spot outside. Ruth has trusted me to find Ren. I feel in my heart I shouldn't know, I mustn't step in. It's been a while since we enjoyed the sun like this, hasn't it? About 2 years. Feels so long ago, yet like only yesterday. Ren. Her golden locks bounce as she spins on her companion again, his eyes widening as the rays of light set her aglow. I don't dare breathe. The deadly silence hangs in the air as she calls his name, smothered. It's all. Are you happy like this? He looks past Rose, avoiding her gaze. I've always enjoyed these evenings. Ren. His gaze is pulled back to unwavering eyes. How many more evenings like this might we have, as things are? It won't last forever. As Rose steps closer. I'm happy for you, Ren. Found someone who can share your burden. Rose. Does she make you happy? Ren's gaze drops. She's what's best for the Yamato family. What I desire doesn't matter. I won't be becoming my brother. Don't talk like that. Rose snaps back at him, his gaze shooting back to meet hers. You might not think there's more to life than your family, Ren, but don't sacrifice yourself. And what am I supposed to do? You don't know what it's like having your older brother walk out on you. You hear his decision to elope as he looks you dead in the eye. First time in my life I hear Ren raise his voice and flinch. But the girl before him stands strong and taking on his rage. Do you know what he told me? Sorry. He made it clear to me then, and then, I'd lost. He sacrificed my future, our future, so he could live his own. Rose's eyes widen. I'm sorry, Ren. What? For what? None of this is your fault, Rose. I really blew it, didn't I? I won the selection, but you didn't. No amount of regret will change that now. Ren's voice strains as he forces out the words he doesn't want to say. Hey, Ren. Yes, Rose? Can you see us standing here, just like this in 10 years? In 30? We couldn't. The head of Yamato's entertaining a former candidate in private for so many years? We're scandalous. Not if I wasn't a former candidate. She steps closer and closing what little distance remains between them. I'm sure I wouldn't make a bad wife. My throat runs dry as I refuse to even swallow lest I make a sound. Should I interrupt? If I don't, what becomes of me, of my family? What of Rose? I find myself mouthing traitorous words. If only I back down, then Rose would be able to take my place. Stuck in limbo, I find myself unable to call out, unable to walk away. How truly pathetic I am. I gave my word to my family, to Risa, if not to follow through. But he brings shame upon the Yamatos, I know. Rose takes a deep breath, drawing her shoulders back. I've always known your pride would come first, but somehow I found myself drawn to that side of you too. Say, Ren. She stretched out her hand, gently grasping Ren's arm, his own fingers reaching out for hers but curl away. What is it, Rose? Can I ask you for one last favour? Of course. With eyes closed, she leans into Ren until their lips meet, and yet I do not feel an ounce of jealousy, no desire. The pair remain for what seems like a lifetime. So slowly do mere seconds pass before my eyes, and a cold shiver shoots down my spine. Rose opens her eyes, meeting mine. How long she'd known. Had Ren known? My head spinning, my pulse races. But nothing had happened. Rose closes her eyes once more for the final moment of her embrace with Ren. She draws away. I can't see if Ren follows. Part of me doesn't want to know. They finally separate, Rose taking 3 steps back. Neither dare to make a sound lest they break the spell. There is only one recourse. Giving them a few moments, I pick myself up. Here, Risa, you got this. And enter the room. Oh, Ren, so you were hiding here after all. Ruth sent me to attend my duties, I'm aware. And it should be best I don't keep her. Thank you, Risa. With heavy words, Ren walks from the room. Ren. I watch him leave, my back turned on the girl who just spilled her heart out. Words abandon me as Ren vanishes beyond the doorway. Her whisper fills the room. I must have given you quite the show. I didn't want to interrupt the two of you. How thoughtful. Her eyes are distant, looking somewhere far away to something beyond her reach. A long-tired sigh escapes her lips. Gazing at them only reminds me of their embrace. Be honest with you, Risa. Yes. This is my first time meeting a voyeur. Voyeur. My heart really started racing when I saw you. Can't help but worry that you may have awakened something. Can we hurry up and put it behind us? I'm not particularly proud of it, you know. My brows knit together, but Rose only chuckles at my frustration. When her eyes first met mine through the doorway, I could have sworn a fire burned inside, but the way she spoke... You aren't angry at me for spying on you? Angry? Churning my stomach makes the wait for her words stretch on and on. Is she doing it to me on purpose? I say forgive and forget. There are worse things to worry about in life, and I'm sure I'd done the same. I breathe a sigh of relief only to hear that trademark giggle. I don't think we've ever had this much of a chat before, have we? For all the time we spent around one another, it amazes me. I think back on the days we spent skittering around Yamato Estate. Despite me being Ren's fiancée, Rose had dominated this time. I'd rarely had the chance to even offer her my greetings, let alone have a leisurely talk. I think you're right, how odd, isn't it? I couldn't help but smile at the idle chatter, warmth slowly returning to the room. What do you do for fun, Risa? I've been trying gardening lately myself, but I'm loath to admit it, I think my name is the closest I'll get to that talent. I choked back a laugh, but not well enough for Rose's keen eyes, a grin breaching her face. That's a surprise, I thought you'd be a natural. If only, I'm sure you're a magnificent gardener, Risa. Gardening, huh? My eyes turned to Ren's garden. Without not so much as a leaf out of place, I can't even imagine the work that goes into maintaining it. Rose tilts her head softly to one side and regards me curiously. You've never tried? Never had the chance? Our home doesn't have a garden after all. Oh, I see, that's quite the shame. Oh, before long I'm sure you could have an entire field to yourself if you wished. Lucky? Rose's lips twist into a wry smirk. There's a lot of luck in this world, and it finds me or my family. I'll be a fool to refuse it. Assuming we all be living the good life, how nice it will be. My body stiffens, the fire is back, burning inside her eyes as fiercely as before. I clench my fist until my knuckles turn white, fighting to hold what courage I can muster. I could want for nothing more than the warmth of the parents who gave me everything. My, how touching, it really brings a tear to my eye. Rose dabs the corner of her eye, dry as a bone. Do you think what it'll cost? Do you stop to think what it'll cost along the way, Risa? Be chosen by the Yamatos despite your humble roots is nothing short of fantasy. Meet your prince, is it for it to be love at first sight? Oh wait, that's not quite right, is it? Rose. Guess my future Ren just wasn't meant to be. My mouth runs dry. What can I say? She's a necessary casualty? She'll find someone new? I don't think I like seeing you two apart. Rose's eyes twitch. And yet you still toss us aside. For what, money? There's plenty of money in the world, but only so many soulmates. Don't you see that? Pain flares up in my head, my nails digging into my skin. She's not wrong. In fact, if anyone's wrong, it's for me for being so selfish, or the Yamatos for not actually heeding their son's, preferences. For asking so much, yes, and I won't apologise. You're sacrificing Ren's future for your own. Doesn't that bother you? Don't doom Ren to a loveless life when you're nothing but a gold digger. I feel punched in my gut with her trailing words. She's right. For the sake of my family, I would sacrifice Ren's love of Rose 100 times over. Even if it meant having money for the good life. There's nothing I won't do. Yet part of me knows I'm being greedy. No matter how my heart may waver, I won't fold her. Some chances are too precious to let slip by. A bang shoots out as the door flies open in the doorway. Ren, his eyes trained on the ground between us. You're back. That didn't take long. With my words, I unwittingly undo the magic that bound him to that spot. His eyes regain focus as he strides towards Rose. No, surely. Ren, wait. I shoot out an arm, but he slips by too quickly until... This house doesn't welcome those who would badmouth our family. Ren, she didn't. You're soon to be part of the Yamato family, Risa. It's not how things are decided. That's how things are decided, no matter what some might wish. His voice catches slightly in his throat as he continues forcing his words out. No matter what some might wish, that's how it will be. And I'm sure you can find your way out, Rose, or should I have Ruth escort you? The girl clutches her cheek, refusing to let tears spill from her eyes as she stares defiantly back at Ren. In that moment, I can tell she holds a strength that I could never dream of. I'm sorry, Ren. Goodbye. Goodbye. Those are the final words between the two. Rose is gone, never looking back. Unable to see how Ren's eyes follow her departure or how they shone in the light, I walk to his side, staying back a few steps. He keeps clenching his fist, open, closed, but the shaking won't stop. I'm sorry if I handled things better. You too. Ren, what do you... I have work to finish by tonight. Ruth is relying on me. Even as his eyes refuse to meet mine, the lie in his voice rings loud and clear. The sight of Ren's back is haunting. Once so strong, so confident, is now shriveled, his gaze lingering on his stinging hand. Tomorrow, then. Wait for the parting words or a wave of a hand, but it's clear with no such sign, I leave the room. Wiping the mist from my glasses, I fight the burning in my eyes. The house is quiet. For such a large estate, that might not be so unusual, but still I take a pause as I step inside on my daily visit. Is it worth my time? I'm not sure. For days I've not heard a sound from Ren. Sound of his hand as I rub my arm, a chill running through my body. Huh? If only I'd thought things through more. Risa, are you okay? Huh? Standing before me, Ruth regards me with a good deal of confusion. When did she... Forget it, doesn't matter. What am I doing, turning up only to be spaced out? Oh, it's you, Ruth. Sorry, I have a lot on my mind lately. Ruth flashes me an understanding smile. Even though she hadn't been part of the events surrounding Rose's departure, she watched over Ren for long enough to pick up the signs. Take it you're here for Ren today too? Is he taking visitors? The past couple of visitors have arrived only to pace outside Ren's study. Seeing him sit alone, whatever words I want to give him vanish from my mind. Would he even want to see me? That fear had kept me distant even if I suffered. She turns her head, glancing towards what could only be Ren's location. Gears turn over and over, but she lets out a steadying breath. It seems I've forgotten whatever he had said, Ruth. I'm sure he said something, but oh dear, how unlike me. We see more than all the extra work, I'd let it slip my mind. Ruth hangs her head in shame. She smiles and spins her back to me, pacing away into the depths of the estate. Thank you, Ruth. For forgetting my duties? For a future member of the Yamatos, you'd do better to chastise me, Risa. Usually composed Ruth unceremoniously waves her hand in parting. I do apologise for today's reading. It seems that my minor cognitive impairment has been flaring up loads. I just keep having blanks when I start seeing words. It's unfortunately a slight hangover from the chemotherapy. It's one of those that's supposed to go away after 10 years, but unfortunately I think I've got it for life. But she's a mystery all of her own, but one I'll have to unravel another day. In that case, she looked towards the study, right? I turned to follow where Ruth's eyes had pointed. There was only one room where Ren would be, the very room I've hesitated to enter ever since that day. Really causing her so much trouble. I'll have to complain on Ruth's behalf when I see him. To make her worry is utterly unfair of him. A familiar doorway looms before me. My fingers curl away from the handle as I reach it, my heart jumping in my chest. This won't be like last time. I open up the door as quietly as I can, taking great care to close the door behind me. Across the room, a lonely back faces me. One step, two. On my third, I'm made to pause. Ruth, do you need something? I'm busy. Surely whatever it is can wait. His eyes briefly move from the ground of the garden to the clouds scrolling by above. Through this silence, he regards them with what only I can imagine is great indifference. And I thought I told her I didn't want guests. How bothersome. You're lucky to have her by your side. Do you intend to turn me away? No. In a way, I'm glad to see you. This house has felt terribly empty of late. I closed the distance between us as his eyes returned to rest on the lap once more. Sitting beside Ren, that target becomes clear. I made it hard for you to talk to me recently. I'm sorry for that, Risa. To act so pathetically, it's unlike me. His fingertips curl with his words. If anyone should apologise, it should be me. If it weren't for my suggestion, this would have never... Do you really think you can absolve me of my mistakes? No, Risa, I did what I did to protect the Yamoto name. You're soon to be a Yamoto, just as I am, to tolerate such belittlement. Ren's voice cracks. At the price of your own happiness? I can't just accept that, Ren. But even when I tried to help, I just drove you further apart. A chuckle breaks forth from Ren's lips. How can you find it so funny? You're my bride-to-be. Wouldn't you say you were just doing your job magnificently at that? But I'm only here for my own gain. I could never give you the future what Rose could. Ren's hands twitches at name. You're right, but is anything wrong with that? He turns his gaze on me, his eyes peering into the depths of mine. Our union. It's a business transaction. Nothing more, nothing less. Something to benefit the both parties. So you're right, Risa. Can't imagine I'll ever come to love you as I did Rose. But I can provide you with a home and your family with security, and in turn, I'll carry on the Yamoto lineage. See a fair trade to my eyes. So don't let anyone speak of you that way again. To run your name through the dirt is disgracing Yamoto's, disgracing your family. A worry grin comes my way, one I can't resist returning. So laughable, yet with this my family's future is assured. They'll never have to worry again. I laugh. All that talk as a child of a prince whisked me away to happiness. Will my parents be proud? Will they condemn me for putting them first? A family for a family? To protect my own, I will carry on the Yamoto bloodline. If my life would be told as a fairy tale, what form would it take? Would it commend me for my dedication? Celebrate my sacrifices in the name of the greater good? Or would it be a cautionary tale, fable against throwing away your future? Only time would tell how a story of a selfish princess might unfold. The girl who gave herself to a loveless life. A future without romance. And that is the ending. And I will say that's a very nice touch to have this picture be the last and the first thing you see. Now, again, I'll apologise for quite a bit of stuttering this time. Yes, unfortunately, my health hasn't been fantastic of late, so I am having a few problems with just having memory blanks and being unable to pronounce things, much to my own amusement sometimes. But thank you again for watching, and I'll see if I can find more fun-free things on Steam. This was a nice little one. It could really do with a follow-up, and just looking at Moonlit Works, I am going to see if there are any more of these. Oh, they did the Carp Demi. That's nice. That's one I have to kind of go back and take a look at as well, because there was a reboot of that, and in fact, that is only 85 pence, so add to the cart. We'll be getting that. Yeah, they make very nice, quite simple visual novels. Well, this is a kinetic novel, really. There wasn't actually any choices. So, sorry about that one. I thought there'd be some choices for us in this one. But I will hopefully catch you next time, and I hope you all have a good day.